Hi guys, welcome back today. Okay, so today I decided I would start kind of this new series that I think I should do on helping out like newbies or older women or people who aren't really into makeup. So I'm going to start this series on like my tips and tricks on certain areas of makeup. And today I decided that I would do foundation. I think we can all get really confused with the amount of primers on the market and the different kinds of primers, the different tools on the market, the different kinds of foundations on the market, the liquids, the creams, the stick, all of that stuff. I feel like that it can be really overwhelming for people who aren't, as into makeup as a lot of people on YouTube are. So what I decided to do today was to give you 3 tools that I think are essential. You don't necessarily have to buy all 3, but the 3 tools that I use. So I'm going to show you those 3 tools. I'm going to show you the primers that I use. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on some color correcting underneath the eyes and what different kinds of concealers are for, like a pot concealer or, a doe foot, in a doe foot wand concealer, and brightening concealers, color correcting concealers, all of those things. So when we're going to talk about that, we're also going to talk about different kinds of foundations and what they can do for you. So if you guys want to learn all about that and learn some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way, then just keep watching. Anyway, so I've already put on my, the Clinique Moisture Surge, just the regular, the gel. I've got that on, and I'll give you guys an idea. Okay, and I know this is super expensive, but this is like a lifesaver. This is the Chanel Hydra Beauty Micro Serum, and it's just like a gel, and it just kind of comes out. Let's see if I can get it to focus on your hand, and it's just clear, and it's kind of runny. You can see it kind of running down my hand, and you basically are supposed to put this on before your moisturizer, but whatever, I don't care. It's just going to add a lot of moisture to your face, and I love it so much. So I actually talked about this product in my very first video. Dear God, don't go back and watch that. Well, if you can, I mean, you can, but whatever. Okay, so, and this isn't one of those things where like it needs to set in your face. Like I feel like it's already pretty set, and it's kind of, it just feels so good on the skin, and it has that Chanel, like it smells luxurious. I love it. Okay, so then after that, I'm going to talk to you guys about some primers. I don't think primer is necessarily something that is pertinent, I guess, to your face. I know others out there would probably disagree with me, but I'll tell you, one of the things that I like primers for, I'm grabbing a few of mine that I have here, are for pore filling. I like to, minimize the look of my pores as much as possible, because my biggest pore issue is right here on my cheeks, just in this area right here. And that's where I put the majority of it. And then of course, like if I have some creases right here and then some stuff down here, I'll put it down here and bring it down. I usually don't go on the forehead, because this is an area right here is an area for me that's super dry. So I try not to do this, to do these on my forehead. But anyway, the first one I have that I've been using for quite a while is the Makeup Forever Step 1, and it's the smoothing primer. Really, really like this. They have different kinds. They have like a radiant, which I think comes in a pink bottle. Anyway, but the Makeup Forever line is really good. This is just going to smooth out, your face. It's going to create a really nice smooth base for your foundation. I'm not a fan of the sticky primers, and I know that a lot of people out there are. I feel like that's kind of what your moisturizer is meant to do. Like a moisturizer is going to kind of give you a little bit of tackiness on the face. So I like the pore filling. Now, the idea behind a primer is that it's going to help your makeup last longer, or it's going to give you a certain look. They have mattifying primers. They have radiant primers that are going to give you kind of a glow. They have color correcting primers that are going to be, your greens, your reds, your purples, your yellows, that are going to help with color correcting. So like right now you can see I have a little bit of redness on my face. So then in turn I would use a green on my face to counteract the red. Purple is for brightening. Yellow is for dullness. Let's see. Not really sure what the rest are. That's just me. Okay, so anyway, so I'm gonna start. So I have the Makeup Forever, and then I have the Benefit Professional, which I'm really liking. And then I just picked this up during the 21 Days of Beauty at Ulta, and this was $10. And it's the Smashbox Photo Finish Pore Minimizing. And this one's like a purple. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this. Get a good amount. I usually do. I get like that much on my finger. And then I warm it up in my fingers, just like this. Get it kind of warm just on these outer 3 fingers. And then I press it into my skin. And I press it everywhere. Now this is gonna kind of make me a little red, just because obviously we're pressing into the skin. So it's gonna, you know, there's gonna be for some people there'll be a reaction, and there is for me. Like, I'm pressing into my skin and it's gonna make me red. But I press it in order to get as much of that primer into my pores as possible. And then sometimes I'll do it on the sides of the nose, but really on the areas where I have pore issues. Okay, so next let's talk about some tools that you can use. Of course, like, I grew up watching my mom use her fingers to put on her foundation. I mean, and that's basically, you know, besides using the sponge that may have come with my cute little CoverGirl cream foundation in high school, yeah, that's what I used. I always used my fingers until, I don't know, maybe college is when I started, you know, finding other tools, which was a long time ago. Anyway, but there are 3 tools you can use besides your fingers to help you put on your foundation. So the number 1 tool that I like to use is a beauty blender. And this is my black one. They call this one the Pro. I don't know why it's called the Pro. They're all gonna do the same thing. I have a pink one like this. They have different sizes for different areas of your face. They have tiny ones to get up in, you know, to do your concealer. They have blushers. They have little ones that, you know, you can put your blush on with. But I just have 2 regular beauty blenders. I like the black one. I don't know why. It cleans up really well for me. This one, I've already wet. And if you don't know what a beauty blender is, it's basically a sponge that you wet to help put on your foundation. And the purpose of this sponge, and the reason why you wet it, is because it's gonna give you a more, I guess, a flawless finish. And it's gonna pick up the product that you don't necessarily need on your face. So ideally, it's gonna help you to not look as cakey. Now, with that, with a wet or a damp sponge, because I know most people are like, why would you put a wet sponge on your face when you're trying to put on foundation? Well, the purpose of it is to pick up as much product as possible. So you wet it. It's smaller than this. Let me grab my pink one. But this is what it looks like when it's not wet. So there's the comparison. So this one's been dampened and wrung out, and then I've put like my washcloth around it to kind of really wring it out. And then this one is dry, completely dry. So see the difference? Anyway, that one's really dirty, I'm sorry. And then of course you have your standard, what they call a foundation brush. And this is something my mom uses, and I think it can be great for foundation. Mine's wet because I just washed these 2 brushes before I got on camera so that they wouldn't be so dirty for you guys. But this is a MAC, it's just a tiny little MAC, like I got in a kit. But anyway, it is a flat brush. It's synthetic and it's super flat, as you can see. And then it's just like this. And it's basically kind of like you paint it on your face. I like using these brushes. I don't know why people knock them so much, especially on YouTube. And the whole beauty blender craze and the artiste brushes and all these different kinds of tools you can use out there. I think this is great and I use it pretty frequently. The next brush I have, and this is the last tool that I would recommend to you guys for foundation. Just mostly because these are the only 3 tools I use and I feel like they work great. I don't think you need a crap ton of different foundation brushes, but that's just me. This is the Sigma F80 Flat Kabuki. And this brush it's perfect for foundation. If you want a full coverage look with your foundation, this is the way to go. Okay, so it's super dense. Mine's wet, or it's still a little damp, just mind you. But so the bristles are super, super dense and they're super, super short. So whenever, you know, you use it, it's meant to be a buffing tool. So you're gonna buff, 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 buff your foundation into your face and blend it out just like this. You're gonna buff in this circular motion, which I really like. I like this brush. Now, with brushes, I find that some foundations, if you're not careful, you're gonna get like brush strokes like on your face. Some foundations will do that to you. Some foundations won't. It just depends on the foundation. In my opinion, these are the only 3 tools you need. The Beauty Blender is great for blending out your concealer under your eye. It's gonna pick up, you know, product that isn't needed. It's just gonna leave the appropriate amount of product. So this is great for foundation, or for concealer, sorry. And then you have your brushes for the foundation if you wanted to do that. All right, so I'm gonna go in with some foundation. Okay, so foundation tips and tricks for you guys. Where do I start? There are so many foundations on the market that it's crazy. You have a stick foundation, you have a cream foundation, you have a really runny liquidy foundation, you have full coverage, medium coverage, light coverage, sheer coverage. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, BB creams, CC creams, it's a lot. I have a bin in my makeup, in my little makeup acrylic vanity thing. And these are my foundations. I know you're not supposed to lay foundations like this, blah, blah. Okay, but this is the only way I can store them. And these are the only foundations I own. And I know it looks like a lot, except for this. This is my Minda K Volatilizer. And this is also where I put my primers. This is the first drawer I go for after my moisturizer. It says everything I need to start in here. And I have so many things. I have the Hourglass, what is this called? The Vanishing Stick Foundation. And I freaking hate this. I spent so much money on it. And I don't know what the big freaking deal is about this. I don't like it. So today what I'm going to go in with, just to get started here with foundation, I'm going to go in with my Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place makeup. And I am in the shade 3C1 Dusk. If you guys haven't tried this foundation, this Estee Lauder Double Wear, go do it now. This is seriously, I love this foundation so much. It does not move. I mean, it literally is budge proof. I love it. Okay, so what I do is I start out, and I need the most coverage on my cheeks. I have horrific acne scarring, acne pits, like I have, it's awful. I'm actually at a point where I'm looking at getting Fraxel on my face because I just don't feel very good about my face, and I feel like my makeup skills are not that bad. And I'm gonna go ahead and use my Beauty Blender, and I just pounce. Now, the good thing about the Double Wear and a lot of foundations is they're buildable, which means you can do more than one layer, which I like because I always feel like I need more here. Do you guys see all my acne scarring? Like, I know you probably watch my videos and think, God, does that girl not know? Trust me, this girl knows. I mean, I don't feel like it's anything to be upset about, but it would just be nice if it wasn't there anymore. And you can just pounce, 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 and bring it down the neck. Always bring it down the neck. That's going to create a seamless blend so that you don't have that harsh, harsh, harsh line that a lot of us had in high school, including me. My brother even said to me at one point while I was in high school, my brother is 6 years younger than me. And so when I was in high school, he would say, why do you have an orange line across your face? And I remember my mom going, shh, don't say that. But I didn't think anything of it in high school. I didn't care. I didn't care that my foundation didn't match, I guess. I don't know. Now I look back and I'm like, gosh, what is going on with that orange line on my face? My brother was right. I love my brother. Okay. And I'm kind of having some breakouts right now too, which isn't very fun. Let me grab a mirror so I can look close up. All right, and a lot of people won't bring the foundation under their eyes. For some reason I do. I guess it's just a habit just to kind of bring it a little bit underneath my eyes. I know that's what concealer is for, but oh well. Okay, so that's the first layer done. And it looks fairly good. I'm looking at myself here in my main bathroom mirror. my biggest concern, and I'm going to talk about this in my next video, is this area of my face. And I've actually have a long story for you guys about this area of my face. So watch out for that because it's coming. But I like to get it really around like the areas where I have like creases on my face or wrinkles, just to make sure that I'm picking up the product that doesn't need to be there, you know, just hanging out in those creases. All right, so after that, I always kind of look and see, okay, where do I need more foundation? Where do I feel like I could add, you know, benefit from a little bit more coverage? And I'm telling you guys now, it's always this area of my face. Like my forehead, I feel like always looks great. I don't ever feel like, you know, I need more there. So I just take a little bit, and by the way, this does not come with a pump, but it's so good, I don't even care. So I just dot a little more. I got a little bit down here, it looks like. I'm really red today, you guys. I don't know what's going on. So I can't really tell you I use this many pumps because I have no idea. Okay, so see, I've got some issues here. In a way, I kind of use it to conceal. I know you're not supposed to do that with foundation, but there's no rules, right guys? There's no rules. I've said that to you in the past. For women my age, I will be 35 in November, which is super, super scary to me, 35. For me, I like to use a smoothing primer because of the, you know, because I have the acne scarring on my face and because I have large pores. For someone who's like my mom, who obviously is in her 50s, she's probably going to kill me for saying that, late 50s, she would benefit from something that's more hydrating because as you get older, as you age, your skin loses its moisture. So you're going to want something that, you know, helps your skin retain some moisture. And there are primers like that out there. There are also foundations like that out there for people who need more moisture. You know, a dewy foundation would be perfect for any woman that's experiencing dryness. And I'm starting to get to that point where I really like a lot of moisture. But for women that are, say, younger than me, you know, and, you know, early 30s, 20s, whatever, a radiant primer would be great. Something that's going to give you that healthy glow that you probably already have because you're in your 20s. So for women in their 20s, I'm just going to say just any old good primer would do for you. But for me, I prefer a smoothing primer. Okay, so see, that's with two layers. And let me tell you, because I used the Beauty Blender and because it's damp, it's gonna pick up, see all that on there? Like, I mean, this was completely black when we started, but that's what the Beauty Blender does. It's going to pick up, you know, the product that you don't necessarily need to be leaving on your face. It's gonna pick up that excess. That's the word I'm looking for, that excess product. And I feel like 2 layers looks really good on me. You know, it's all I need. I mean, I need some spot concealing and everything, but if you go too heavy on it, then it's gonna look like crap. So step 2 that I always like to do is conceal, correct, and brighten. Today I'm gonna use, I'm gonna show you guys some color correctors and then some different kinds of concealers. Okay, color correctors. Now, obviously, I am a medium skin tone. So I can use a peach corrector underneath my eyes that are usually in the blue tone. And what's gonna happen is it's gonna counteract that blue. So if you find yourself having a lot of issues with the blue tones in the corners here, run out and get yourself a cheap peach corrector and tell me if it helps. Let me know in the comments. A cheap version would be this LA Girl Pro Conceal. And I have it in the peach corrector. I promise you it doesn't look peach on camera, but I promise you it's almost the exact same color as my hand. So this is good. And then it comes with like a little brush. So you know, can, where it is. So you just brush it on your face and blend it in. Another peach corrector that I love is the Benefit Erase Paste. It's called something else now, but I have this teeny tiny one and it's the same concept. It's a corrector. And this one is a lot thicker than the LA Girl. So you need less of this, but it's gonna provide you more coverage because it's thicker. But it doesn't make you look dry. And that's what I like about the Benefit Erase Paste. So For the purposes of today's video, I will use some of the erase paste, and I just get like this much of it on my finger. See that? And then I dot it on my eyes, just like this. And then with the erase paste, with a thicker, you know, consistency, I like to kind of get it spread out with my finger, warm it up against my face, and I like to drag it down because I have a little bit of discoloration right here on my cheek from just the sun. So I'll just kind of get that done there. And then I will take my beauty blender, if I can find it. Where did it go? What the hell? Oh. And then I'll take my beauty blender and pick up all the excess. And I just squeeze it like this. And just pounce. Just like that. And so do you see the difference? How it's really brightened up that area, that corner right there, that where we get, you know, blue. Okay, so I'm gonna do the other side. All right, so see how that just brightened up that area? Didn't make it look so, or it makes it look not so cavernous. Not a good word for your under eyes. Okay, so next, you can do some brightening underneath the eyes. I tend to either use, you know, an erase paste or the peach corrector, and then set it, and I'm good with that. A lot of people don't. A lot of people do that and then add, you know, a concealer like this on top of it. I'm always scared to do that because I feel like it can look kind of cakey. So I'm not gonna do that today, but one thing you can do with it, if you want, is you can bring it down the center of your nose, and that's gonna give you some brightness right there. You can also do it up the forehead, which obviously I don't need because look at this shine. But you can do that there, you can do it here. Just gonna kind of create, you know, a highlighted effect. And you always, if you're gonna do this, I would highly suggest doing it with a concealer that's, you know, a shade or two lighter than your foundation, obviously, to create that brightness. But see what that did on my nose? It just created a little tiny bit of brightness right there. Just right there. And I mean, my nose naturally looks contoured just because I put that brightness here, even though I don't have anything contoured, you know, on the nose. I don't have any contour there. Okay, so next, let's do some spot concealing. My favorite, there's lots out there. The MAC Pro Longwear Concealer is really great for spot concealing, in my opinion. That's a really good one. And then this one is like my new fave. It's the Anastasia Concealer, and I have it in the shade 2.5, and it comes in a pot just like this, and it's a good, like, thick consistency. So for spot concealing, I really like this. And then what I also recommend if you're gonna spot conceal is use the tiniest amount possible. Just kind of, see how I just kind of dabbed that on my face just right there. It doesn't, you know, it's not as much. I am like super broken out. And I just kind of dab it where I need it on whatever spots I have. Obviously there's a lot there. If you need a little bit in the corner of your nose, you can put some there to counteract those cute little capillaries that we can all get sometimes. Maybe some on the forehead. And then what I do usually is then I will take a dry beauty blender and I'll just kind of pounce this into my skin. Okay, so there we go, got that all done. And then when I'm finished with everything, I'll take my beauty blender that's still damp and just run it completely back over, like just pounce it all back over my face and make sure that everything kind of looks as seamless as it can look on my face. Make sure that I'm still blended down the neck. Alrighty. So, last step that I always do without fail is I put on a powder. And you can use, you know, there's a lot of powders. My ear itches. Sorry, guys. There's a lot of powders you can use. You can use setting powders. You can use, you know, a powder foundation. You can use a brightening powder. There are a lot of powders out there on the market that you can use. My favorite, though, is the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural, which is just, I love it. I think it gives such a natural look to the skin. And then it's providing coverage, which is still what I need with my acne scarring. So this is what it looks like. This one is almost at its end. You can see it's got quite the dent in it. And I'm going to give you a tip here that I have started doing just to give myself, I guess, a more natural look with the powder so it doesn't look so drying and so powdery on the face, is I'm going to use my damp beauty blender. And I'm just going to kind of tap it in there just like that. And then I'm going to tap all over my face. And the reason why you can use a damp beauty blender with this, you know, like I said, it's going to make it not look so powdery, but it's still going to give you, you know, a matte finish or whatever finish you're wanting to go for with whatever powder you're using. But it's not going to look so powdery. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, and then I get just a teeny tiny bit on my beauty blender and I set that peach corrector with the same color. Yes, I do not put like a different colored setting powder under my eyes. I put the same tone as the rest of my face. I've always done that, and that's just what I like. Okay, and then I'll do the forehead, which definitely needs it from the shine. Now, because I get dry really a lot here, the Estee Lauder isn't so bad about clinging to my dry patches there. No, it looks really, really good. But I don't really want to put a lot of powder there because obviously the powder is going to give it that, you know, that more clinging, dryness, nastiness effect. So I try to, you know, avoid this area of my face as much as possible when putting on powder. I just can't get that shine to, it looks a lot worse in the camera than it actually is in person. And I literally press it into my skin. I mean, if you're gonna use a brush, that works too. Let me show you guys, you know, just a basic brush that you can use for powder. I use this is a Chanel powder brush, but I use this one for my bronzer. But you can use a brush like this. Let's see what else I have. I have the e.l.f. complexion brush, which is way cheaper than the Chanel. I think this is like $6, and this is a good one just to, you know, if you wanted to do just a light layer of powder, just kind of dip your brush in and then just sweep it across the face. So that is basically my foundation routine. That's what I do. I always do my foundation first. I never ever do my eyes first. I've always been in that frame of mind. There are, you know, there's great foundations, there's great moisturizers, all of that stuff. Let me tell you, the most important part of your foundation routine is your skincare. As long as you are moisturized and, I mean, obviously we're going to have those dry patches. We're going to have that, you know, that one winter that our skin just freaks out. So it's important for you to know your skin type. I am normal to combo. I slightly, you know, I get oily here in my T-zone a lot. Sometimes I'll get a little oily here, but it's, you know, that's just part of my skin. Anywhere else, I feel like I have very normal skin. So you want to get your foundation based off of your skin type, the kind of coverage you're looking for, and for me, it's also ease of use. I got the Hourglass Stick foundation hoping that it would just be easy just to, you know, all over my face. Well, yeah, it was super easy, but I freaking hated it. And now I have this foundation that I'm gonna use up, but it's gonna look like crap as I'm using it. So tools, you need your 3 tools I showed you guys, the flat brush or the flat kabuki or a beauty blender. Those 3 tools, one of those 3 tools is gonna get you, you're gonna be good, you know, when it comes to applying your foundation. And then if you want, just go the normal way and do it with your fingers. You can always blend out foundation and make it look great with your fingers. Your hands are your best tools, in my opinion. You know, if you've got the blue cavern, don't forget, look for the peach corrector. Do things that are going to be essential to your face and your needs. I don't highlight and do the huge triangle. I don't need that and I don't want that. I feel like it emphasizes my pores too much when I brightened this area and basically brought it forward, which is what the brightening does. If you highlight here, this part of your face is going to be, you know, brought forward. Same with your forehead, same with your chin. I mean, I did a little bit on my Cupid's bow. That's what contouring is for too. It's going to bring that area in. It's going to make you look kind of, that's probably in the right word, but sunken in here. So just remember, it's about how you want to look. I'm never going to put a powder under my eyes that's like 5 times too light. People do that all the time. I don't. I just don't like that look on me. So I'm going to do things that I feel like look best on me. So that's what you guys need to do when you know, are looking for a foundation or getting into a routine of putting on a foundation and a full coverage face or a light face or a medium, you know, coverage, whatever you're out there looking for. So, yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It'll totally make my day. Anytime I see 1 subscriber subscribe to my channel, I'm like, yes, like somebody likes me. Check out my blog at diaryofthecoloraddict.com and follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.